Hi everyone. So today I'd like to talk about the idea of if you don't suffer from anxiety or any form of mental health, how you can help others, or if you may be either in a relationship, you may have a child, or you may know someone who might be going through this type of scenario. And even though you don't understand it yourself, that there might be ways or the do's and don'ts of what might actually help facilitate in getting that person sort of at least feeling like they're not alone. So I guess like for me, I think I mean the thing that I've always sort of said to people, and I have trouble sometimes relating to when I talk about like my mental health and everything, is that you do sometimes from people who don't suffer from it get that really weird sort of like like what I call like the goldfish look, which is kind of like a really sort of like you know like really sort of they just don't get it, or they don't, or they feel like that it's something that is almost alien to them. I mean, I've encountered people who basically sort of pass it off as nothing more than just something that you go through, you know, as like a teenager, especially when I was a teenager. But however, at the age of mid 30s, we still get it, and even though the symptoms might have changed or something, it's always just it kicks you in the teeth. To be honest, I think the thing that really is the most important thing about mental health and anxiety that I guess I've probably learned is that you have to treat whatever you have as treating it via the individual who has it. And what I mean by that is that anybody who has mental health, I think you can have the same symptoms as that person and yet experience it in a totally different sort of way. And it's because you're an individual. You know, that's basically what it is. And I always like sort of express the idea of individuality, you know, and the idea that you just should be able to be who you want to be, and without sort of prejudice or anything else. And you have to also understand that also falls in with anxiety and mental health. Even though you might have exactly the same symptoms as someone else, doesn't necessarily mean you're experiencing it in the same way, you know. And I think that you could compare that with basically a great example would be, say if you're playing a sport, for example, and say you're a goalkeeper. Let's just put a football reference in there. I do apologise. Say if you're a goalkeeper, your job is primarily to stop that ball from hitting the back of the net. That's your job. Well, say if you being the goalkeeper means you as an individual, and anxiety and everything else is that person who's going to kick that ball, and that ball is going to sort of represent, obviously every time that goes into the back of the net, that's every time you're going to have a sort of panic attack or something. Well, the point is that the other goalkeeper on the opposite side of the field has got the same job, or is going through the same thing, but yet they might sometimes save the ball, you know, and they might let it in differently. And what it is it's because it's due to other factors around that. You know, it's a different person who's shooting at you. It's a different striker. Does that make? Hopefully that makes sense to a lot of people. I'm trying to make it as sort of plain as trying to express the idea of, yes, you might all be part of the same collective or the same team, but you're gonna experience it in a totally different way because you are you. And this sort of goes around to what I wanted to sort of really talk about today, which is the whole notion that I know that family and people, it's crippling for them when they see their son or their daughter go through this, and they feel like they can't do anything. And I think the reality of it is, from what I think I've probably learnt through my years of having it now. I mean, like I said, I've had this over 20 years now. Actually, in fact, 20 years bang on. No. No, what am I talking about? Oh my God. 25 years. Eek, God. So as of this video, I've had suffered from extremely bad mental health for 25 years. Yes, that's right. Gone there. I've finally just worked it out. But yeah, so So I've experienced it all, as I may have mentioned in previous videos. But yeah, so what I was trying to get at was with family, and the idea that you, I think the obvious thing you have to get through is that you are not going to be able to experience what they're experiencing. Your emotions and your sympathies are probably going to change, and I think that all of that entangles into sort of a deadly cocktail of sort of, for the person experience, for the person witnessing it, you know, just pure devastation, heartache, and everything else. And so, really, the one thing that I've learned is that the only thing you can do is be there for that person. And what I mean by that is be there in terms of just encouraging them to sort of do whatever it takes to get them to feel better, and be as supportive as possible, but without putting too much of a blanket around them. Because I know that some people probably find that sort of method a little bit sort of contradictory, because really the first instinctive thing is you want to wrap that person up in cotton wool, and you want to make sure that they, you know, whatever they do. But as even the metaphor states, you're literally constricting that person, that they can't breathe, and you need them to sort of go through it in a certain way. And it's not even that it's a cruel to be kind type of scenario, I don't think, really. I think it's like, you can't, they've got to go through it regardless. And it's an unfortunate sort of situation when it comes to mental health, is that really probably the best thing to do is just to let them go through it, but to make sure that they get through it and that they go through the other side, really. Because there's no magic pills that are really going to sort of change that person. There's no sort of magic cure that's going to sort of help that person. There's nothing, and it can be a very, very sort of lonely place to be in. And I've witnessed that for myself. I think actually you can have the most amount of friends and you can have the most amazing family network, but at the end of the day, the journey that you have to take, unfortunately, is a very lonely journey. And so for the people, hence this video, who are trying to sort of be supportive, I think the best thing that you can do is just let them get through it, but with almost a supervisory sort of capacity, in terms of giving them as much support and encouragement as possible. And, you know, just do that. But the worst thing you can do is wrap them up in cotton wool too tightly, and also to not be sympathetic. You know, I mean, if I said to you, right, okay, I've got a really bad chest pain, and then you turn around and go, oh yeah, I get chest pain. Well, yeah, you probably do, but does it hurt as much as me? You can't quantify it. You can't sort of like, you know, you can't sort of put that into any form of fair rationale, sorry. And I think that's what makes it really difficult. And I think a video like this, if anything, it's probably just going to be one of these videos that if you do suffer from anxiety or mental health, you might just want to show your friends and that lot, and just be like, look, you know, you need to understand that this is what I need from you. You know, I just need you to be there. I need you to be the phone call. I need you to be the WhatsApp message. I need you to be the email. I need you to be the person knocking on my door, not 24/7 or anything else, but just a friendly sort of, hey, you all right? And if you are a friend of that person who's suffering or going through it, just get them to just get them in any place to be happy, basically. You know, just to get them to sort of say, okay, right, what is it you enjoy doing? Oh, right, okay, so you enjoy going for a walk. Well, go for a walk. You don't have to go with them. Just let them go for a walk. If they want you to go with them, go for it. But they just need to feel like they're not alone. And I think that's the thing, because, like I said, regardless, when you suffer from mental health and anxiety, it's the most loneliest place in the world ever. And you just feel like sometimes giving up, because it's the right attitude to have at the time for what you're going through. You know, and what I mean by that is, you imagine, you know, you're waking up every day, you're constantly feeling like crap. there's only so much of it you can take, you know, and it does sometimes, you know, there are moments when you just have breaking points. And sometimes when you go through those breaking points, it's so sort of like tunnel vision, you can't see the sort of other people around you to sort of help you, and it's so difficult. But when you have like friends and family who are really supportive, you just need them to sort of be there, and I think that's all you can do. And just, but you've got to help them as well. So if you are watching this video and you're an anxiety and mental health psych sufferer, you need to also help them with that, because this is the other thing, that they're not mind readers. And this is a sort of almost the contradiction of what I was sort of saying, was that everybody's individual and everybody goes through these things in different ways. But you still need to make them understand what it's like for you. And then they need to listen to it and act upon it. Because that's what happens when you go through it. You need to talk. You need the people, the support network around you. But they can only be as supportive as if you allow that. And it's difficult. Of course it's difficult. I still now have trouble talking to people about my emotions and my feelings, because a lot of things really, because I find it embarrassing. You know, who wants to sort of tell people like, oh, do you know what, like, I keep swallowing all the time and I keep feeling like I'm going to be sick all the time. It gets a bit boring, and it not only does it get boring to keep sort of like saying to people about it, but it almost makes you feel really guilty, because you're sort of thinking, oh God, like, you know, when they sort of say, well, how are you doing? And you kind of like, oh, I think I'm all right. Oh. But really deep down, you know, like you sort of like, actually really probably like, oh God, I'm in a pretty bad way, to be honest. And this is the thing that we always encounter, you know. And so really the point of this message is this. This video is designed for you to watch it, and for both sides of the coin. So whether you're suffering with anxiety or whether you're trying to help, the point of this video is to say to the people who would like to help somebody who you may know going through it, don't wrap them up in cotton wool. Just be there for them. And if they need you, be there. Just be there. Don't make false promises. Don't do any of that. You've got to be there, and you've got to be as understanding as possible and make them open up. You know, I don't mean like forcing them, by the way. It sounds really dodgy. I don't mean forcing them. What I mean is like just encourage them to talk, you know. And it might not be easy for you, because you may not necessarily even be a good listener, you know. Or you might be one of these people like, right, let's go do this now. Let's just sort it out. Like this. And it's like, it just doesn't work like that, you know. Sometimes you just have to be from a place of understanding, and you almost have to be the counsellor or the support network that they never ever had or never ever even dreamed of, you know. Even if you are a parent and your child's going through it, or whether you are a friend who knows someone, or whether you're in a relationship with someone and you know that that person's going through it and you're not, because you've never had it, or maybe you've had it, but as I said before, you can have exactly the same symptoms, but you'll experience it in a totally different way. And I think really that's the main point. Just be there for that person. That's all you can do, you know. And if they choose, and just encourage them to sort of like go with it, you know, ride that wave. You know, I've said this before about anxiety, you know, the idea that it's like a storm. It's like a, you know, you just got to sort of ride that wave. You see that storm coming, that's your anxiety. You know it's going to hit you. You just got to be prepared for it and just ride through it. It's going to be tough. You know that it's going to sort of pee hard, and it's going to be thunder and lightning and all this sort of stuff. But you know at the other end, it's going to be calmer. And then you just prep yourself for the next storm that's going to happen. You know, it's just about being realistic. And trust me, at the end of it, you will feel so much better for doing it. Because sometimes it's the unknown, it's the unknown that is the thing that scares us the most. And as we've always like sort of said about the human existence, is that humans as humans, our natural default is that we are sort of naturally scared of things that we don't understand, and it always goes back to that classic sort of like thing that I always referred to, is that, you know, like, what would, if aliens came down tomorrow, what would our first human reaction be? Well, most of us would automatically assume that their intentions were bad intentions. We wouldn't sort of think that those aliens came down here to sort of shake hands and go for a party. We'd think that they're natural, because we are scared of not, you know, we don't understand. It's our default. It's our default. You know, and that's the thing with anxiety. I think that's our biggest thing, is that we don't understand our own bodies, let alone understanding anxiety as a whole. You know, and I think that's really it. But as long as you are aware of it, that's the best you can be. You know, just make sure you're aware of it, and that's all you can do. So hopefully that's helped. I know I sometimes get a bit impassioned about it, and I may go off on sort of certain segues, but it's just me being realistic and chatting to you. And even if this video can help one person, you know, or even, like I said, if you're an anxiety or somebody who's got mental health and you want somebody else to understand it, just go, look, maybe you might want to watch this video, and just know that, you know, this is how maybe you should sort of like help. And that's it. So yeah, thank you. Support Tribe of the Offbeat. Support the content that we put out, and I'll see you very soon. And hopefully that's helped. Take care, everybody. Bye.